What's going on, everybody? Plamo Therapist here. Today I just wanted to give you guys a quick look inside of my toolbox because honestly I'm getting married this week and so don't have a lot of time to put together a video, so I figured I'd give you guys a look into some of my favorite tools that I have. So starting here, this toolbox is awesome. It's one that I picked up at Daiso for about, I want to say like $3. So nice toolbox, keeps everything all together, really easy to take around with me wherever I go. Sometimes I move desks for when I build, so it's nice to have everything in one convenient location. Now, first thing in the toolbox you'll see here is I have my extra sanding sponges here by God Hand. These are my favorite sanding sponges. By far, I've been using them for a lot of my builds now for cleaning up everything. I prefer the sponges. They're a little bit softer compared to regular sanding paper, or even some of the files that are out there. I tend to be a little bit heavier handed, so the sponges give me a little bit more grace when I'm sanding some stuff. So usually I have a set that I normally use. I just threw away my most recent one, which I would actually keep in here with a lot of my other stuff. So in this top tray here, I have a lot of the stuff that I use for all the kits that I'll be doing when I'm putting together. So I got my initial nippers here. These are the Mr. Hobby ones that I got in a starter kit. These are the ones that I use to cut pieces off the runners. Next, I have some higher quality nippers. I have both the Disc Bay and the God Hands because if you haven't seen my review of the Disc Bay nippers, I'm doing a long-term comparison compared to the God Hands. Right now, I'm about 3 kits in each, and so far they're still pretty comparable. I want to give it a few more months to kind of see how it goes, and then I'll do kind of a follow-up review to see how the Disc Bays hold up compared to God Hands. So those are the 2 nippers. So one kit I'll be using the Disc Bay, and then another kit I use the God Hand, and I kind of go back and forth like that. So next, as I said here, I keep in some of my sanding sponges that I use regularly. As I mentioned earlier, these are the God Hands. I keep a couple of these thinner sponges around so that if I have to get into really smaller tight places, or even areas that are kind of rounded in this fashion, I can kind of use it this way, or get them into kind of those tight nooks and crannies. So those are the thinner sponges. Next, I have my X-Acto knife. This is what I normally use for ABS plastic. Some of the softer plastics that don't really sand very well, I find that some of them tend to scratch a little bit easier. So what I do is, instead of sanding down the nubs, usually I'll take my X-Acto knife and I'll cut them off. If you haven't seen my tutorial about how I use this, I'll link that up in the corner as well. And then of course the extra blades for my X-Acto knife, because you want to make sure that your blades are nice and sharp. So that's it for the main tray that I have done here. After that, we'll go into the rest of some of the other miscellaneous tools that I have in here. And so starting off first is the Tamiya files. I used to use these at first when I was doing some seam line removal. After I glue it down and get all the pieces all nice and secured, I'd use the metal files to kind of go ahead and get started. But I've actually shifted away from those and went into some of these other sanding sticks. I haven't done a review on these yet. I'm still kind of testing them out, but I do like them. Along with the Infinity brand sanding sponges, I'm kind of testing these out, and I actually like them a lot. So if you guys want to see a review on them, let me know in the comments below. But these are some of the other sanding tools that I have. After that, I have some backup sanding sponges here. As you guys can see, I'm running out of this pack, but I mean, I love them so much. I have 2 other kits in one of my other containers here, so that's the other thing I have. Next up, some of the tools that I don't use as much, such as my God Hands drill bits. So I haven't started doing LED work yet, but I wanted to start playing around with some drilling out some holes and things like that, because I have some detail parts coming in that I want to include in there. So nice tool to have, a good solid set. So I put these off to the side. And lastly, I have Disc Bay tools. I have their, if you guys can see that there, I have their chisels and their handle that I got for scribing, and then on top of that I have some scribing tape, one in I believe this is 3, and then one I believe a 6mm. So these are all the tools that I have in my toolbox. I'll go ahead and put them all back in. And so I haven't done a lot of scribing work just yet. I'm still kind of learning how to do that, but these are more the tools that I kind of want to play around with, that I keep on hand in case I want to do some stuff with it. So, oh, another thing about these Infinity sponges, they're a lot softer compared to the God Hands, which are really nice, but as you can see, they're much larger compared to it, and for the price, they're actually pretty good. compared to the God hands again. And so if you guys want to see a review of any of the things that are in my toolbox that I haven't done a review on yet, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below and I can go ahead and get that out to you guys. So after that, next up are these other sanding sticks. Again, a lot harder compared to the sponges, which are good for flat parts and that and whatnot. I have another Infinity one. This is actually 400. This is what I've been using now instead of the metal files that I had earlier. That's where they're right there. I've been using this 400 to get rid of a lot of the stuff as opposed to the metal files. The 400 is a nice rough grit, nice rough texture, and as you can see, I've done a lot of work with this. And what's great about this is I just take them, tap them on my pants a little bit, and there, I clear off a lot of that extra dust. Like that. So these actually come in packs of 2, and so I only have one in my kit because this toolbox is kind of a little bit on the smaller side, but it's perfect for what I need, which is why I use it. Get the main tray back in there, the sanding sponges, extra blades, X-Acto knife, and then all the nippers that I have that I'm using. Again, I'm just kind of switching back and forth between the display and the God hands. If you guys saw the wing Gundam that I did the God hands with those, and I'm working on the, I think it's the Psy next with the display, so keep an eye out for that video. But once I'm done, close it all, oops, close it all up, and there we go, my toolbox. That's it. Quick video for you today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found a little bit of value in this content and how is as far as some of the tools that I enjoy using. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care of yourselves, take care of the people around you, and I'll see you in the next one.